Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina inaugurates the month-long Dhaka International Trade Fair, saying government stresses on economic diplomacy to increase investment.
প্রত্যেকটা দূতাবাস ব্যবসা বাণিজ্য রপ্তানি কোন দেশে কোন চাহিদা বেশি কি আমরা রপ্তানি করতে পারি বা কোথা থেকে আমরা বিনিয়োগ আনতে পারি সেই দিকে দৃষ্টি দেওয়ার জন্য নির্দেশ দিয়েছি।
Book festival held across the country as students revel in receiving new books on the first day of the year. Obadul Qadir hopes that the opposition will come out of negative politics and conspiracies in the new year. Bangladesh will march forward under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, facing every challenge in the new year, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. World welcomes New Year 2023 with a bang, colorful decorations, fireworks displays and releasing balloons. And Arsenal beat Brighton 4-2 in the English Premier League match. Assalamu alaikum. This is Shamim Khan, welcoming you all to News at 10 on BTV and BTV World. Those were the headlines. We now move on to the news in details.
তুমি যখন শাসন করবা সোহাগ করতে শেখো, তাদের দুঃখের দিনে পাশে দাঁড়িয়েও, তাদের ভালোবেসো, কারণ তোমার হুকুমে সে জীবন দিবে। তোমাকে শ্রদ্ধা অর্জন করতে হবে, সে শ্রদ্ধা অর্জন করতে হলে তোমাকে শৃঙ্খলা শিখতে হবে, নিজকে সৎ হতে হবে, নিজকে দেশকে ভালোবাসতে হবে, মানুষকে ভালোবাসতে হবে এবং চরিত্র ঠিক রাখতে হবে। তা না হলে কোনো ভালো কাজ করা যায় না।
Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina laid emphasis on expansion of domestic market and increasing purchasing power of people to make the local industry more effective. The Premier was addressing the inaugural ceremony of the month-long Dhaka International Trade Fair DITF 2023 at Bangabandhu Bangladesh-China Friendship Exhibition Centre at Purvachal on the city's outskirts this morning. Sheikh Hasina said, today's diplomacy is not political, rather it will be economic diplomacy. All embassies and foreign ministries have been asked to work to this end, she said, adding her government will boost trade in this way. The Prime Minister again put stress on finding new markets and products for diversifying the export basket of the country. Sheikh Hasina put emphasis on establishing food processing industries to tap the immense potentials of these items around the world.
এখনকার ডিপ্লোমেসি এটা পলিটিক্যাল ডিপ্লোমেসি নেই, ইকোনমিক ডিপ্লোমেসি হবে। অর্থাৎ প্রত্যেকটা দূতাবাস ব্যবসা বাণিজ্য রপ্তানি কোন দেশে কোন চাহিদা বেশি কি আমরা রপ্তানি করতে পারি বা কোথা থেকে আমরা বিনিয়োগ আনতে পারি সেই দিকে দৃষ্টি দেওয়ার জন্য নির্দেশ দিয়েছি। এর আগে আমি বিভিন্ন সময় বিভিন্ন এলাকায় গেছি। প্রত্যেকটা দূতাবাস চেষ্টা করবে কোন দেশের কোন পণ্যর চাহিদা আছে সেই পণ্যটা আমাদের দেশে আমরা উৎপাদন করব, রপ্তানি করব। এভাবেই বাণিজ্য আমরা বৃদ্ধি করব। ইউক্রেন যুদ্ধ এবং এই সময়ে আমি মনে করি যেহেতু সারা বিশ্বব্যাপী খাদ্য মন্দা এবং পণ্যের মূল্যবৃদ্ধি, বাংলাদেশের জন্য একটা সুযোগ আছে। আপনারা খাদ্য প্রক্রিয়াজাত শিল্প গড়ে তোলেন, তাতে আমাদের দেশীয় উৎপাদকরাও যেমন লাভবান হবে, কর্মসংস্থান হবে, পাশাপাশি রপ্তানির জন্য নতুন পণ্য হবে। মাছ, মাংস, দুধ, ডিম সব কিছুই কিন্তু আমরা উৎপাদন বাড়াতে সক্ষম হয়েছি। কাজে এগুলি প্রক্রিয়াজাত করা, তরকারি সবজি সেগুলি প্রক্রিয়াজাত করা এবং রপ্তানি করা, যত বেশি খাদ্য রপ্তানি হবে তত বেশি সুবিধা হবে। পাট একসময় সোনালী আঁশ আমাদের দেশের, পাটের চাহিদা কিন্তু কোনো দিন শেষ হবে না। সারা বিশ্বে পরিবেশ বান্ধব এই পাট পণ্যের এখন বিরাট চাহিদা সৃষ্টি হয়েছে, সেই সুযোগটা নিতে হবে। আমি পাটজাত পণ্যকে বর্ষপণ্য 2023 হিসাবে ঘোষণা দিচ্ছি। সেই সঙ্গে সঙ্গে আসুন সকলে মিলে আমাদের এই দেশকে আমরা আরও এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাই। জাতির পিতার স্বপ্ন সোনার বাংলাদেশ, স্মার্ট বাংলাদেশ আমরা গড়ে তুলব।
Held with Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi in the chair, the function was also addressed by Textiles and Youth Minister Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi, Senior Commerce Secretary Topun Kanti Ghosh, FBCCI President Mohammad Joshimuddin, and Export Promotion Bureau EPB Vice Chairman AHM Ahsan. Later, the Premier went round different stalls at the fair venue. Commerce Ministry and EPB organized the month-long largest annual commercial and trade event of the country at its permanent venue of Bangabandhu Bangladesh-China Friendship Exhibition Center in Purvachal for the second time. Some 17 organizations from 10 countries, including Singapore, Indonesia, Korea, and India, alongside the local firms and companies, are taking part in it. This 27th edition of DITF features some 351 local and foreign stalls, pavilions, and mini pavilions, up from the previous year's tally of 225. Meeting of Bangladesh Awami League Parliamentary Board was held at Ganon Bhavan this afternoon. Awami League President Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina presided over the meeting. Members of Bangladesh Awami League Parliamentary Board were present at the meeting. Meanwhile, Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir said Awami League has given nomination to 3 constituencies out of 6 in by-elections. Of the remaining 3 constituencies, 1 will remain open, while Workers' Party and Jashud, a 14-party alliance, will give nomination to 1 constituency each. Awami League candidates in 3 constituencies are Ragibul Ahsan Ripu in Bogura 6, Ziaur Rahman in Chapai Nawabganj 2, and Muhammad Abdul Wadud in Chapai Nawabganj 3. By-election will be held on 1st of February. Later, Obaidul Qadir announced names of the new members of Advisory Council National Committee and Executive Working Committee of Bangladesh Awami League. Communist Party of China has congratulated Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for her re-election as President of Bangladesh Awami League at its 22nd National Council recently. In a letter to the Prime Minister, on behalf of the International Department of Central Committee of the Chinese Communist Party, its director Liu Jianchao conveyed heartfelt congratulations to her and Bangladesh Awami League. Liu Jianchao said the Awami League, under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, has made important contributions to the socio-economic development of Bangladesh for over the decade, enabling it to graduate from the LDCs and rank the first in South Asia in terms of per capita income. He expressed strong belief that under her leadership, the Awami League will make continued efforts to realize the dream of Sonar Bangla at an early date proposed by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and thus delivering greater benefits to the Bangladeshi people. As in previous years, the government handed over new books to the students on the first day of the new year. The colorful primary textbook festival was held centrally at the central playground of Dhaka University. State Minister of Primary and Mass Education Zakir Hussain handed over the textbooks as chief guest. 3,000 students from 34 educational institutions in Dhaka metropolitan area received new books at the festival. Talking to BTV, students expressed their happiness over getting new books on the first day of the new calendar. In his speech, State Minister of Primary and Mass Education urged the teachers to work, emphasizing on building a smart Bangladesh. Primary and Mass Education Secretary Fareed Ahmed presided over the festival, which was also attended by Chairman of Parliamentary Standing Committee on Primary and Mass Education, Advocate Mustafizur Rahman, lawmaker Shirin Akhtar, and Firdausi Islam. A total of 9,66,08,245 free textbooks will be distributed among 2,18,03,030 students this year across the country. Students of primary and secondary schools have returned home with new free textbooks on the first day of the new year. Today, the students of classes 1, 6 and 7 received the new textbooks prepared on skills and practical learning instead of knowledge-based education. Students got the free textbooks, although there were no textbook festivals in the country during the last 2 years due to COVID-19 pandemic. But this year, students got the new books on the first day of the new year through the book festival, as the government has brought the coronavirus situation under control. Those who are concerned think that getting new books on the first day of the year will increase interest in education among students. The government has distributed around 4.5 crore few textbooks from 2010 to 2022, which is a rare example in the world. The government is spending more than 1,000 crore taka each year to distribute free textbooks. President Muhammad Abdul Hamid has turned 80 today. He was born in a noble Muslim family at Komarpur village of Mitha Moino Buzila in Kishoreganj district on 1st January in 1944. On the occasion of his birthday, Chinese President Xi Jinping extended his sincere congratulations and best wishes to President Muhammad Abdul Hamid. In a greeting message, the Chinese president wished President Muhammad Abdul Hamid good health and success in his work. President Xi Jinping said he would like to work jointly with President Abdul Hamid to take China-Bangladesh relations to a new level and for the welfare of the people of both countries. Cabinet Secretary Kabir bin Anwar paid a courtesy call on Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry at her office today. During the meeting, they discussed various issues, including ongoing development of Bangladesh Trade Fair 2023, progress of women, and creating new employment. The Speaker said the economy of Bangladesh is active due to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's tireless efforts, through economies of many countries are in chaos due to coronavirus and Ukraine war. The Speaker said a new chapter has been opened in Bangladesh through launching of metro rail. Greeting the Speaker on the occasion of New Year, the Cabinet Secretary said the digital fair is now going on, which has been showing documentaries on Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and Liberation War to inspire the new generation with the spirit of Liberation War and ideals of Bangabandhu. Jatiya সংসদ Whip Iqbalur Rahim and Senior Secretary of Parliament Secretariat K.M. Abdul Salam were present. Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir has said Bangladesh Awami League hopes that BNP will return to positive politics in the new year, leaving behind conspiracies and negative politics. He said this while extending greetings to the countrymen on behalf of his party on the occasion of New Year 2023. Obaidul Qadir was exchanging views with journalists at Shetu Bhavan in the capital today.
বছর ঘুরে আবারও এলো একটি নতুন বছর। নতুন বছর এসেছে সম্ভাবনার নতুন বার্তা নিয়ে, সমৃদ্ধি এবং প্রবৃদ্ধির গতিময়তার সুবাতাস নিয়ে। নেতিবাচক রাজনীতি চর্চার অন্ধকার ষড়যন্ত্রের পথ ছেড়ে বিরোধী দল ইতিবাচক ধারায় ফিরবে, অন্তঃসার শূন্য এবং ব্যর্থ আন্দোলনের হুমকি দামকি থেকে বেরিয়ে বিএনপি নতুন বছরে সাংবিধানিক ধারায় জনপ্রত্যাশা রাজনীতি করবে বলে আমাদের আশাবাদ। ডিজিটাল বাংলাদেশের সাফল্য অর্জনে ধারাবাহিকতায় নতুন বছর হবে স্মার্ট বাংলাদেশ বিনির্মাণের গোড়াপত্তনের বছর। এবছর আমাদের ঘুরে দাঁড়ানোর বছর, আত্মশক্তিতে আরও বলীয়ান হওয়ার বছর। দেশরত্ন শেখ হাসিনার নেতৃত্বে নতুন বছরে সকল ষড়যন্ত্রের জাল ছিন্ন করে আবারও স্বাধীনতার চেতনা, মুক্তিযুদ্ধের মূল্যবোধে সমৃদ্ধ আগামী বিনির্মাণের প্রত্যয় হবে দৃঢ় থেকে আরও দৃঢ়তর।
Road Transport and Bridges Minister said Taka 403 crore came as toll from the long-cherished Podda Bridge so far.
পদ্মা সেতুতে আজ 2023 পয়লা জানুয়ারি পর্যন্ত সর্বমোট টোল আদায় হয়েছে 403 কোটি টাকা। এটা আমাদের দেশের জন্য, অর্থনীতির জন্য একটা সুখবর।
Later, Road Transport and Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir exchanged views with officials at Setu Bhavan. Officials and employees greeted him on being Awami League General Secretary for the third time. Afterwards, Obaidul Qadir exchanged New Year greetings with officials of Road Division and inquired about progress of ongoing projects. Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood has called for developing trained manpower to deal with the challenges of fourth industrial revolution. The minister made the comment while addressing the program's marking 43rd founding anniversary program of National Institute of Mass Communication today. Dr. Hassan Mahmood hoped that the country will move forward in the new year the way Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina took it forward amid global crisis due to coronavirus.
2022 সাল, একদিকে করোনা মহামারী, আরেকদিকে রাশিয়া ইউক্রেন যুদ্ধ। সেই চ্যালেঞ্জ মোকাবেলা করে আমাদের দেশকে মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী বঙ্গবন্ধু কন্যা জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনা এই বিশ্ব মন্দা পরিস্থিতির মধ্যেও, বিশ্বের সংকটময় পরিস্থিতির মধ্যেও, করোনা মহামারীতে পৃথিবী যখন থমকে গেছে, সেই পরিস্থিতির মধ্যেও দেশকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে গেছে। এই বিশ্ব অর্থনৈতিক মন্দার মধ্যেই আমাদের দেশে পদ্মা সেতুর উদ্বোধন হয়েছে এবং সারা দেশের মানুষ আনন্দে উদ্বেলিত হয়েছে। মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্র, ভারতবর্ষ, এমনকি পাকিস্তানও অভিনন্দন জানিয়েছে। কিন্তু দুঃখজনক হলো সত্য, আমাদের দেশের রাজপথের বিরোধী দল বিএনপি অভিনন্দন জানাতে ব্যর্থ হয়েছে। এটি তাদের রাজনৈতিক দণ্ডতা। সংকটময় বিশ্ব পরিস্থিতির মধ্যেও ঢাকায় মেট্রো রেলের উদ্বোধন হয়েছে। এই সংকটময় পরিস্থিতির মধ্যে বাংলাদেশের মানুষকে টিকা দেওয়া হয়েছে এবং করোনা মহামারী মোকাবেলা করার ক্ষেত্রে বাংলাদেশ পৃথিবীতে সফলভাবে মোকাবেলা করার ক্ষেত্রে জাপানের নিক্কি ইনস্টিটিউট এবং ব্লুমবার্গের যৌথ জরিপ মতে বাংলাদেশের অবস্থান পঞ্চম, উপমহাদেশে প্রথম। গত বছরও আমাদের জন্য অনেক রাজনৈতিক চ্যালেঞ্জ ছিল। সমাবেশের নামে নৈরাজ্য তৈরি করা, সেই চ্যালেঞ্জগুলো আমরা মোকাবেলা করেছি। এই বছরও আমাদের সেই চ্যালেঞ্জগুলো থাকবে। রাশিয়া ইউক্রেন যুদ্ধ এখনও চলমান, জানি না কখন শেষ হবে। করোনা মহামারী স্থিমিত হলেও আবার কোনো দেশে সেটি মাথাচাড়া দিয়ে উঠছে, সুতরাং সেই চ্যালেঞ্জ আমাদের সামনে আছে। এবং সহিংস রাজনীতি, পলিটিক্স অফ কনফ্রন্টেশন অ্যান্ড পলিটিক্স অফ ডিনায়াল, যেটি বিএনপি আর তার মিত্ররা চর্চা করে, সেই রাজনীতিও অব্যাহত আছে। সেই চ্যালেঞ্জগুলো আমাদের মোকাবেলা করতে হবে। কিন্তু বাংলাদেশের মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী গত 2 বছর যেভাবে দেশকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে গেছেন, এই বছরও 2023 সালেও ইনশাআল্লাহ তার নেতৃত্বে দেশ এগিয়ে যাবে।
Presided over by Director General of National Institute of Mass Communication, Shaheen Islam, the program was also addressed by Secretary of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Humayun Kabir Khondokar. BRTC is providing shuttle bus services in order to facilitate metro rail passengers in the capital. The buses carry passengers to different destinations. As many as 50 double-deckers are running between Uttara North Station and Agargaon Station in every 10 minutes. BRTC authorities said the response of passengers is satisfactory and number of buses will increase once the time for metro rail operations is extended. Metro rail passengers have expressed their happiness with the service of BRTC buses and e-ticketing system. Passengers have to pay Taka 10 to travel between Agargaon and Khamarbari, while maximum Taka 30 to Gulistan and Motichil. Metro rail passengers can travel in these double-deckers to Diabari, House Building and Abdullahpur areas. The lowest fare is Taka 10. The fare between Uttara Station to House Building is Taka 12 and Taka 15 to Abdullahpur. Now, international news. Cities across the world are welcoming 2023 with large crowds gathering for fireworks and light displays. In London, Big Ben fired the starting gun for a spectacular display that included a tribute to the late Queen. In Edinburgh, huge crowds filled the streets for the city's world-famous Hogmanay party, back for the first time in 3 years. The traditional Times Square event in New York returned after 2 years of reduced festivities, ringing in the new year to the sound of Frank Sinatra. Earlier, Sydney put on a spectacular display as ever with fireworks launched from its harbour bridge and opera house. However, the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah in the UAE has attempted to break one world record and set another with a New Year's Eve firework display. Meanwhile, revelers in China made the most of recently lifted COVID restrictions and were able to gather in large crowds. Presidents of warring Ukraine and Russia have promised victory for the respective nations in the New Year's speeches, talking about gratitude, pain, and duty. Volodymyr Zelensky, recalling some of the war's most dramatic moments and victories, filled his emotional 17-minute video message with footage of Russia's attacks on the country and words of pride for Ukrainians withstanding attacks, darkness, and cold. Vladimir Putin, on the other hand, thanked Russian troops in his speech, saying the West was intent on destroying Russia, but he would never allow it to happen. Meanwhile, numerous blasts were heard in Kiev and in other places around Ukraine, and air raid sirens wailed across the country shortly after midnight. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has called for an exponential increase in the production of nuclear warheads and ordered the development of a new intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM to counter the United States and South Korea. Kim's statement was released on state media today, hours after North Korea fired a short-range ballistic missile off its east coast in a rare late-night New Year's Day weapons test. Kim also reportedly said North Korea plans to launch its first military spy satellite soon. At least 10 people were killed and 8 others seriously injured in an explosion that rocked the Kabul military airport today. Sources with Taliban Interior Ministry said an explosion caused injuries close to the military airport's main gate in Kabul. No one has taken responsibility for the attack as of yet, but the regional affiliate of ISIL, known as Islamic State in Khorasan province, ISKP, has increased its attacks since the Taliban stormed back to power in August 2021. This explosion comes 3 days after 4 people were injured in a blast that rocked Talukan city. Australia and Canada have become the latest countries to impose restrictions on travellers from China amid a surge in COVID-19 cases. Morocco went a step further, announcing a ban on all arrivals from China. The latest curves were announced as COVID-19 overwhelmed hospitals and funeral homes across China. In recent days, the United States, United Kingdom, France, Italy, Spain, India, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan have also imposed either a negative result or a test upon arrival for travelers from China. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization (WHO) said Chinese officials must share more real-time information on COVID in the country as infections surge. Now, some other international news in brief. China's defense ministry has accused the United States of violating international law and of slander and hype following a confrontation between a Chinese fighter jet and an American reconnaissance plane over the contested waters of South China Sea. Croatia today switched to the euro and entered Europe's passport-free zone, 2 major milestones for the country after joining the EU nearly a decade ago. Colombia's government has agreed to a 6-month ceasefire with the 5 largest armed groups operating in the country, President Gustavo Petro announced on New Year's Eve. Northern California was inundated with widespread flooding and power outages as a powerful atmospheric river barreled into the region. 2 migrants and refugees died and 232 others rescued after the boat they were traveling in capsized off the coast of Lebanon. Pope Francis has led tributes to his predecessor, Benedict XVI, who has died aged 95. U.S. President Joe Biden and Brazilian President Lula are among dozens of leaders to praise the former pontiff. Anita Pointer from the Grammy-winning Pointer Sisters has died aged 74. She died surrounded by her family at a Beverly Hills home in California. The highly contagious new Omicron subvariant of coronavirus BF7 has been detected in the country. Sources with Institute of Epidemiology, Disease Control and Research IEDCR confirmed the news today. IEDCR Director Dr. Tahmina Shireen told BSS that the presence of a new variant was confirmed in the genome sequence reports of one of the 4 COVID-19 infected Chinese citizens. 4 passengers from China tested positive for COVID-19 at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport recently after the authorities geared up health screening as they fear the spread of a sub-variant of Omicron. Now, weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said weather may remain dry with temporary partly cloudy sky over the country. Besides, moderate to thick fog may occur at places over the country during midnight till morning. The lowest temperature of the country of the day was recorded at Tetulia and Sri Mongol, 10 degrees Celsius, while the highest temperature at Tekna was 29.1 degrees Celsius. Night temperature may fall slightly and day temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country, said the Met Office. Now news on sports. Arsenal defeated Brighton by 4-2 in the English Premier League match. As a result, at the end of 16 matches, they are at the top of the points table with 43 points. They are now ahead of place with 32 points. Meanwhile, Barcelona drew 1-1 with Espanyol in La Liga. With this, Barca has reached the top of the table with 38 points in 15 matches. Real Madrid is at number 2 in the table with equal points. And now to end the bulletin, a recap of the top stories. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina inaugurates a month-long Dhaka International Trade Fair, saying government stresses on economic diplomacy to increase investment. Book Festival held across the country as students revel in receiving new books on the first day of the year. Obaidul Qadir hopes that the opposition will come out of negative politics and conspiracies in the new year. Bangladesh will march forward under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, facing every challenge in the new year, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. World welcomes New Year 2023 with a bang, colorful decorations, fireworks displays and releasing balloons. And Arsenal beat Brighton 4-2 in the English Premier League match. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you indeed for joining us, and we invite you to watch 11:30 Bangla News. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.